Hello pretties, welcome to Israel. So this is probably the last time you guys are gonna see my hair like this because at almost 30 years old, I've decided to dye my hair for the first time. And not like a full dye because that would affect my curls too much. So I'm gonna do like an accent highlight and I'm like really excited. So I'm about to go do that appointment. My appointment for that is in about an hour 15 minutes. So I got a little time, so I figure I might as well film a beauty video because I got my makeup done to go get my hair done. So it's like, might as well, I'm on time. So here we are. Here we are. And so we're doing my recap for my purchases that I did for last quarter of 2022. Yes. Okay, so let's do this. Where do we start? I'm gonna quickly go over this right here. It's something that I keep repurchasing, so I'm not gonna talk about it really. Same thing with my brow gel from ColourPop. I keep repurchasing, so I just don't feel like, I like it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be buying it. Let's talk about non-makeup products. So I did get the collection from Lar de Los Angeles. I really like this collection. I think this is her best collection yet. I think the eyeshadows were a little more user-friendly, and in the sense of these are more shadows I use on a regular basis. I did think there might have been a little too many face brushes in this one, but I found myself really enjoying them. I really liked, let's see if I can get it out. I really like this powder brush. I used it today. I need to get another one of these because this was fabulous. This is the best powder foundation brush I've ever used. I know that she said it was for cream products, but try this for a powder foundation. Amazing. And this is the L34. Really enjoy this. I really liked all of her eyeshadow brushes. I think these make a little more sense than some of the ones that she's come out with in the past. I really like this one right here. It's like the big fluffy brush. And granted, it depends on what kind of formula you're using this with. I don't think these are good for all formulas. But for the Lar de Los Angeles formula, if you're using like a Natasha Denona or a Persona Cosmetics kind of style of like her shimmer formula or metallics, these are really good for those kind of shades. Or Scott Barnes has similar metallics. Anyway, just overall, I think this was her best collection yet for brushes, and at such an affordable price. I would definitely be gifting these. I think they're amazing, so I really enjoyed it. That being said, let's move on to other things. Also from that Lar de Los Angeles collection, we have the Whimsical Nudes palette. I mentioned this last time. I'll say it again. I think this is a very good collection. I don't feel like it's necessary to have these shades like these in, oh gosh, Gaia. Like this like cream shades in palettes anymore. I feel like a lot of us either already have them or we can just simply buy them as singles. And I would much rather buy these cream palettes as singles rather than take a space in palettes like these. But all that aside, I really like this palette. This is definitely not as orange. Stop licking the palette, please. Thank you. This is definitely not as orange as I thought it would be, and it's very easy to tone it down if you just mix it with this shade right here, and it definitely comes out more neutral. I've said it before, I said it again, I really wish this shade right here was a little bit deeper. I think the undertone of it is beautiful, and it is buildable because the Lar de Los Angeles formula is very buildable, but there's only so much building you can do on a shade like this because it's quite soft. I think it just need to be like a shade or two darker. I think it would help a lot of other skin tones as well. But overall, the palette is beautiful. And this right here, this is my shit right here. I just love greens. Y'all know this. So I just love greens. I really like this palette. All right, let's switch it up from palettes. I got the Laura Mercier powders in like a set, and I decided to put two of, I haven't opened the middle one, the banana shade one. I know I can use it on my skin tone at least, especially now that it's gonna get warmer. I can definitely use it. My problem is I don't fucking like the Laura Mercier powder. Everyone is always hyping the shit out of them, and I thought they were gonna be like the shit to end all powder, but I don't like it. It doesn't play well with some products. I've realized, especially cream products, it doesn't play well with certain foundations, especially powder foundations. I've come to find out, or tinted moisturizers. It's just too heavy for tinted moisturizers, and it doesn't blend well with other powders. So if you're using another powder foundation, it's not going to blend well with that. It doesn't blend well with certain blushes. I've noticed that as well, especially they're more like shimmery brushes. Does not play well with those. It's too finicky. It's too thick. It's so thick. and it makes my pores more visible than if I wasn't wearing anything at all. So I don't love that powder. That's the one that I've used on my under eye. I've been able to like make it work if I'm like not wearing foundation essentially, and I'm only using powder, like matte powder blushes, but it's too much work for something that expensive. I wouldn't buy it. And then the dark one, I have been using it as a bronzer, so I've been able to get use out of that way. It's a little too orange for my taste, but it was a sample. It is what it is. So that being said, I don't like that powder. I don't know why the hype that it got. I don't understand the hype that it got. I think it's entirely way too finicky, and I think the only way you're gonna like it is if you're definitely like 2016 makeup, like heavy foundation, heavy powder, heavy everything. If you're baking, and it's so drying. I don't like that powder at all. I don't. Okay, let's move on to some single shadows. I bought 3 single shadows from ColourPop. I have this shade right here, which is the Sandman, and it's like a duochrome kind of shade from ColourPop. I really like it. I think this is what I wished Earthshine would be. I think Earthshine was quite underwhelming, and it's a little more pigmented than Glass Bowl. Gatina, what are you eating? Gaia, what are you eating? Get up, get up, get up. What are you eating? Jesus Christ. I can't leave it alone for 5 minutes. So I quite enjoy it. I've put it in my BYOP for this quarter, and I've been enjoying it. I've been using it a couple times. I used it the other day. So actually this week, I used it this week. So I'm liking it. For She Glam, I bought the Larly and She Glam set. Yeah, no, I love Larly. And this was in the shade Hibiscus for the highlighter and Gold Quartz for the blush. I really like them. This is not my favorite kind of shade of blush, but I can definitely make it work. They're very pigmented. I do think the formula, it's similar to the Rare Beauty one, but definitely not the Rare Beauty one. Like, don't get them confused. They're not the same. I think the Rare Beauty one, it's a little bit more long lasting and it's a little more pigmented. I'm wearing the Rare Beauty one now, but I think I blended it out a little too much. So I think I need to add a little powder blush, but that's okay. I do like it though. I think it's pretty. I think it, I like the highlighter a little bit more, which who would have thought I would ever say that? But I really like this highlighter. There's definitely like a roseness to it. So it's not just gold, and I like that. I think this blush is fine. I don't have any liquid blushes shades like this, so it fits in my collection. So I like it. I really do. And I've enjoyed it. I forgot the single shadows. I got this too from ColourPop. This one is a little quirky, and I really love this shade. Oh my god. This is like the perfect like all glitter shade that you just put all over your lid, and it just looks like New Year's Day. That's exactly that's exactly the best way to describe it. I love this shade, and it just blends into my skin tone. Then is like a bronziness to it, and I have naturally bronzy olive skin. So it just blends, and it just looks like the most beautiful shimmer ever all over your lid. I really enjoyed it. And I have the shade Waddles, which at first when I first tried it, I thought it was maybe a little too light. It does take some building, so hence that being said, I have to use quite a bit of it to build the color. But peekaboo, I have the tiniest little pan. Can you see it right there? And I haven't had it for that long because I bought this at the very, very end of 2022. So yeah, I like it. I really hope ColourPop doesn't discontinue it, or at the very least give me something similar. I really like the satin formula from ColourPop. I really wish they would come out with more of those shades. Or their matte ones. I like their matte and satin ones. They don't have that many left. I want them to bring them back because I like them. Okay. We're down to the last 3 products, and they're going to be all eyeshadow palettes. So I have the Mandalorian. This was a gift. Technically, this one was a gift also from my sister. Sorry, for my boyfriend. This was a gift for my sister. These 2 are a gift from my sister. So she got me the processing. Shit. Star Wars. That was a struggle. The Star Wars collection from the Mandalorian TV show, which I have not watched, so I am not a fan. I just really like the color stories, and I really quite enjoyed it. I was scared that some of the shades would be too cool toned, and I found myself being able to work with them just fine. I definitely have to be a little careful with these 2 shades right here, just because they can potentially look ashy on me, so I have to really build the pigment, but they're pigmented enough where I'm not struggling for them to look ashy. And these blend beautifully. I really thought this shade right here was like kind of random, but it works so well into the palette, and it's definitely a little deeper, so I think it works very well. I've really enjoyed it. I've used it a couple times now and I really like it. So, and I've been able to make all kinds of different looks with it. See, and it's a little bit more neutral, kind of blends into skin tone a little bit more than you would think it would. It's not yellow, like a bright yellow in your face yellow. It's more toned down, more mustardy neutral. And I think it works well with the palette. I think it helps. I really love this Star Wars palette. Y'all know I love green. I love green eyeshadow. It's my favorite. And this palette has been beautiful. I thought this shade was maybe a little bit too cool tone, but it's definitely more in the neutral side. It's slightly warm, and I think it blends into these greens very well. This right here are actually very cool toned greens, which I was not expecting. They're definitely something that I didn't quite have in my collection. This is definitely more warm tone. But even the shade, because it looks olive, but the undertone of it is quite unique. I don't think I have anything quite like it. It's like a foresty olive green. I don't think I have anything like that. I don't particularly care for this shade. I think it's necessary for the palette. I don't particularly care for it, but I think this palette is just absolutely beautiful. And then these two greens right here are amazing. This Super Shock one was a little bit hard to work with for me, but it just takes a little bit of more, like you really gotta do it with your finger or like with the specific kind of brush that can help you like really pick it up. But overall, I really like this palette, and like I said, I don't have anything quite like it in this undertones, so I've been really loving it. The one that I've been using a lot of it, and I've been having to tell myself to put it away, is the Patrick Ta multi-dimensioned ones. I don't like the closure of it. Like, it's kind of hard to open it. Like, you really have to like dig it, but overall, it's beautiful. These shimmers are what I was the most scared of because they're definitely more toppery shades. They have similar to like the Odin's Eye kind of shimmers. Even if they are more opaque, it's just hard to explain. They're just a little thicker, a little chunkier. I have noticed that they work better with the glitter glue, which might not be for everyone, but not all of them are like that. These last two ones are definitely more metallic. This one right here is more of a shimmer, and I think those work a little bit different. This one, even though they're more metallic, they're still quite chunky. This one's probably the smoothest one that he has. This was definitely a shimmer. The other ones are more metallic. The dual chrome here is quite pretty. I've really been enjoying it, and it's very subtle because it's a topper, I think, but it really just transforms the look. If you saw my what's it called, my winter shop my stash like palettes or whatever, and we did a palette bingo with it, one of the shades that got selected was this one, and let me tell you, this shade transformed the look. It did everything, and it really put it together, and it just looks so beautiful. And I put this on top of a very deep bronzy brown shade, which is a beautiful chocolate shade, and I put it on top because I had a very pinky kind of crease. It just pulled it together beautifully, so definitely check it out. I said it at that video when I first introduced this palette. I said it before, I'll say it again. These two need to be singles. And the same thing with his original ones. These two, he needs to send them as like a little mini duos. Similar to like this is a Sigma color corrector duo. He needs to sell them like this. Okay, maybe less packaging because this is bulky as fuck. But like similar. Like, I need you to do that, Patrick, because I think that will sell. Also, the shades are surprisingly more pigmented. I wore this palette yesterday actually, and I wore this shade all over the crease, and it was surprisingly very pigmented. You definitely have to go in the lighter one to like blend some of it out, which I appreciate. They're pigmented, they're buildable, and they blend so well and so smooth. This palette, those mattes are beautiful. I have found that these blend really easily, but they're not the kinds of shades that you can just wear on your own like you would with a Super Shock shadow. Like, I can put this Super Shock shadow all over my lid and I don't have to worry about creasing. I don't have to worry about it like disappearing or moving around throughout the day. And I was hoping that this would look similarly, but then I tried to do that with this deeper shade and that didn't work. You definitely have to set it. The good thing is that this shade right here is almost identical. It's just like the cream version of this one, so you can just set it like this if you're trying to look like a one kind of done. eyeshadow and done. They do blend beautifully into the crease. Even this dark one, you don't need to go with the lighter one to blend this into the crease. So you can just go with this cream one all over the crease and just blend the edges. You just have to set the middle or your crease at least with this darker one, and then this shade matches perfectly with this one. And again, it's a lot more pigmented than you think it is, so it is easy at least to do that, but you do need to set it, and I was hoping that you wouldn't have to. That's okay though, small adjustment. That is everything that I have. I really enjoyed all the purchases that I made. I really wish that I would have tried a different sample set instead of this Laura Mercier one, but you know, you live and learn. I had to test it out for myself, because honestly, the reviews that I've seen on YouTube would not have told me the truth for my skin type and my makeup preference. So hopefully this helps you out. That's it for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys!